Okay, welcome to the channel. I am going to go over version 1.1.4. The major thing that got added was this right here, show delta persistent signals. This is a delta surge strategy that I have traded for quite a while, and I mainly traded this using footprints. So let me go over the settings. Delta persistent. The delta surge I have set to 50. That is for the NASDAQ, for the NQ futures. Now, for the ES, you might want to set this higher, maybe 100, 150. And what that means is in the logic, there's a certain time frame. I have it set to 1 second right now. If the delta surges within 1 second from like 0 to 50, that is considered a delta surge. You can set this to 75 as well, and you'll just get less signals, but they might be more higher quality. Now, the stacked levels, this is set to 3. And what this means is that the delta surge has to be 50 within 1 second, and the stacked levels means that there has to be 3 ticks. Now, the NQ travels in quarter increments, so like whole, quarter, half. So within those 3 tick increments, it has to be stacked levels of more buying than selling. Now the price ticks, I have this set to 2. You want to keep this low. You don't want to keep it to 1, but if you put it to like 5, that's going to be very little signals. And what price ticks means, which means if the NQ ticks up and then ticks up again, that is 2 persistent ticks. Now, if the NQ ticks up and then it ticks right back down, then the signal is invalid. So all of this has to happen pretty quickly within 1 second. You have to have a 50 delta surge or more, 50 or more, and it has to have stack levels of more buying than selling of 3 levels, and the price ticks has to tick up 2 times. Now you can set this to 3, but you'll just get less signals, but they might be stronger signals. So that is what these settings mean. Now, if you don't want to do delta scalping, delta surge scalping, then you can just go ahead and uncheck this, and then they're not going to show on the chart. So let me go over a screenshot that I did on Thursday. This is a 5-minute chart because this is the screenshot that I was able to get. I couldn't get the 1-minute screenshot because the market was moving so fast. There were so many trades that were taken that we were in when I was live streaming. I barely had time to even think. But what I want to do is show you what all this looks like on a chart. And you can use this on a 1 minute, a 2 minute, a 5 minute. So what this is, this candle right here, where this 40 is, right here, where this 40 is, that just means there was one order with 40 contracts. Okay, and then this right here, this lines right here just means that there was stacked imbalances. I have the stacked imbalance set to 4 times more buyers than sellers at 3 levels. Now the delta persistent signal is going to be this right here. It's going to show up underneath the green if it's a positive delta surge. Also, it's going to show up here as a negative if it's a negative delta surge. Now, if we look at the main delta, it's 872. If we look at the main delta, it's 872. 99, there was 99 delta surge within 1 second. This right here, these small dots, that is where the delta surge happened. You have one dot for one signal. So if you see multiple dots, that means there were multiple signals. Like right here, you only see 2 dots, so that was only 2 signals. You see 1 cell right there, that was 1 cell signal. Now what I like to do is I will look for something like mostly like 75 or above, but I have to look at the previous where we are at the previous. Now, right now we're sloping upwards on the order flow bar moving average, and the previous candle was green. That's good. Now, for a signal, let's say we're looking at a 1 minute, you really want it to close within the delta persistent surging. So this candle closed right here, which is really good. It closed right here, which is really good. So what you want to do is get in on, you have to wait until this closes. Because if you don't, see, you had a delta surge here and you had the dots right there, but we basically closed below the delta surge at like a spinning top candle. So that's not a real good signal to be taking. But since we closed here and you want to go ahead and enter on the next candle when it breaks the delta surge area, I usually like waiting for the high of it. Now, another thing is if the delta surge, let's say it was 100, but the dots, let's say there was 3 or 4 dots and they were way down here. That is okay, but it's not like an A plus setup for delta surge scalping. I like them to be up at the top where the candle is, where it closed, and then get in on the break of the high, and you're looking for a run up. That is the delta surge signal on a 5 minute. As you can see, we had multiple ones right here. Now, this one right here, this was invalid. We had a delta surge of 171. The delta surging happened up in this area, but we closed below it. Okay, that's not good. And also, it's a red candle. Now, Thursday was very strong, so we obviously just ran right up. Now, this candle right here, let's take a look at this one. This one is pretty good because we had a delta surge of 131. We had a main delta of 888. The persistent buy-in was right here, okay? Plus, we had 100 single order contract. We had sellers getting trapped, and we traded green up into the area of where the delta persistent surging happened. So you would want to get in on the break of that high right there. You would want to get in on the break of that high and then run it up. Now, when you get a huge spike like this, how you really can use the delta surge persistent is for an exit is something like this up here. We have a delta surge of 201. It happened here. Okay. We've got a main delta of 1100. Up in this area, you had persistent buying up in here. Plus, you had 25 single order with 25 contracts. But look where we closed. We closed below all that persistent buying there. So that is a signal to go ahead and get out because that is showing me it's weak. So that's why I get out. Now, you really only want to be taking these on ideal situations when the 1 minute is aligning with the 5 minute, and where the 1 minute and the 5 minute, the moving average here is sloping upwards. Now, you don't need to have a stacked imbalance, but on this candle, you had stacked imbalance, one order with 40 contracts, persistent buying with the delta surge of 99, and you get in on the break of that, and that is a nice little run upwards, and you could probably get out here. So that is how I use this, and those are my settings for NQ. For ES, you'll have to mess around with it. So go ahead and watch me on live stream next week, and then I will be explaining this live as we are taking trades. That's all I have. Thank you.